Hi, my name is Deirdre, and I'm the creator of the Deirdre of the Sorrows Tarot deck. You can see some images of my deck on my website www.tarotunlocked.com. I'm using 3 of my cards to demonstrate a 3-card reading. This demo is primarily for students of the tarot, as I've noticed that, although they learn the meanings of cards, they can experience difficulty in putting cards together and will go on drawing cards until they're hopelessly confused, as indeed would I. 3-card readings will give you a lot of information and an outcome, which of course is not fixed and can be changed, as I hope to demonstrate. I always put the first card in the centre, just my way, you don't have to do that. You put the first card on the left, the second card in the centre, and the third card, the possible outcome, on the right. The centre card, the Knight of Swords, is the principal card. His element is air. He is supported by the page. One's element is fire, and air and fire are friendly and active. And he's supported by the 9 of Swords, his own element air, on his right. Straight away we can see that the outcome is not good. In fact, the 9 of Swords is the worst possible card to have in this position. However, let's take a look at the spread to see what the situation is. The page gives us a possible answer. Pages are messengers, and what this page brings to the spread is something new and exciting. As the Suit of Wands deals with business, career, or an artistic creative venture, we can assume that this is what the situation is. The Knight of Swords, another messenger. Swords people are great communicators, and the Suit of Swords deals with the mind, the intellect, thought processes, plans, strategies, tactics, and ideas. What the pages bring to the Knight is an exciting new idea. Now this could be a new business venture with a strong emphasis on communications, as both are messengers and communicators. I think it's important to mention that I don't see the page as a person. His role is to show what the situation is regarding the Knight. His personality traits are transferred to the Knight, making the Knight a more rounded and complex character. Well, so far so good, until we come to the Knight of Swords, the negative likely outcome card. This is a card of nightmare, intense anxiety, mental anguish, worry and fear. This anxiety generally comes from within the individual rather than external influences. The role of the 9 of Swords in the spread is to focus our attention on the negative traits of both the page and the Knight, and as I've already mentioned, the page and Knight are one person. Pages are immature and inexperienced youth. This page is very enthusiastic, exuberant and excitable, and he loves to talk. He's not, however, a particularly good communicator, as he doesn't always listen, and to be an effective communicator it is very important to listen. He's a sloppy dresser. Notice he doesn't take the time to tuck in his shirt, which means that he doesn't pay attention to the small, boring details. This also shows his impatience. His element is fire, and believe me, he can be quite fiery and temperamental. Now transfer these traits to the Knight. Although the Knight is a mature individual, and probably very experienced in his chosen profession, his one negative trait is his need to do everything at speed. This can make him reckless and likely to ignore his own shortcomings. Also, he's very impulsive, impatient and impetuous. He's very proud and can be very confrontational. Not the most eloquent of the court cards, his manner and speech can be bombastic and boastful. He is winging it and he knows it. He's allowed himself to be carried away by this new creative idea of his, but too proud to seek out sound, sensible advice. But how would you know this? Notice how he is above the clouds, sword drawn, and rushing towards his goal. He appears not to notice the woman in the Nine of Swords, but believe me, he is aware of her. He knows that he's bitten off more than he can chew, but will he slow down? Well, as the reader, that's your job to tell him he's heading for some sleepless nights and lots of anxiety. Should you wish to add another layer to the spread, then look at the elements of the three cards and you will see that we have fire, air and air. Too much air with fire means that the situation can rage out of control and bump up against the Nine of Swords. The knight needs to slow down, upgrade his skills, listen to advice from those more experienced than himself. He needs help in launching this new, exciting venture, and he should not be too proud to ask for it. If he follows the advice from the tarot, then he need not encounter the Nine of Swords. However, whether he does or not depends on him, because as the reader you've done your job, and it's now down to the knight to recognise his shortcomings and do something about them. I'm now going to change the Nine of Swords for a different card. You can see that now the whole dynamic of the spread has changed. We've given the knight the help and support he needs. This king will always support his page, and the two ones together confirm that this is indeed an exciting new, possibly business venture. The knight is no match for the king, and the king in this position curbs the recklessness of the knight. He also lends the knight some gravitas and makes the knight a much more eloquent speaker. However, the knight still remains the principal card. After all, the reading is about him. This king is an entrepreneur, a savvy businessman. He's inspirational, knowledgeable and experienced. He's a hard worker, and he has the energy, drive, passion, business acumen and expertise to guarantee the success of this venture. I think it's important that you should at least consider that the king may be more than one person, and his or their role is to get this venture up and running. The king understands the importance of the two communicators in the spread, and he will use all means available to advertise this venture. The knight's speech suggests the internet as the fastest means of communication. Plus, he could use his local radio and television station. The page's letter suggests he also makes use of newspapers, magazines, flyers, posters, etc. Although we don't have a coin of pentacle to provide the earth on which to build, the king's vast business experience provides this in the short term, and there's the rub, I'm afraid. The one drawback is that there's just a small window of opportunity. The knight, whose element we already know is air, is surrounded by fire, page and king, and the fire can very quickly gobble up the air oxygen and then quickly die out. So, lots of hard work, energy and drive, and if the knight is willing to do all of that, then there is no reason why this new, exciting venture should not be successful. I hope you found this helpful. Good luck.